Hey guys, we are back for Bandcamp Dailies number 32, and we have a bunch of listens. However, we are only going to be looking at two of these because we've done all the other ones. So what we're going to be looking at is Immortal Agony. That's from a new album that we haven't talked about yet, and we are also doing, I think it's Questionable Stains. I think it is. Yeah. I did not check actually. I don't know if we've done this before. So, okay, I'm just going to go to my YouTube page and check. I should have done this earlier, but I forgot. All right. So let's do a little search for Stains. Okay. Yeah. So this, we haven't done a video on this yet. All right. Okay. So we're going to start with this one with the Cora Canyon album, Shapeshifter's Realm with Questionable Stains. And tonight is going to be a popcorn night. So I guess I'll just cue up the song real quick and then I'll talk about popcorn. I have a little bit of stuff to talk about regarding the popcorn. So Questionable Stains is track number 2, number deuce from this album. We've already talked about Piercing Light, Dreaming About Guns, Weekend Old, and I think another one. Deep Contemplation. Yeah, we've talked about a bunch of songs on this album. Here's a little glimpse once again at the cover art. This is from my youngest sister's wedding. She was crazy enough to let us play at her wedding. I've said that like 5 times now, but it's very nice of her. And this is with the alien map and GIMP. So that's Dave on drums. This is me on guitar. He's all dressed up. I was dressed up, but my clothing is over on the side here. Here's my tie. This is my amp. That's my guitar. And these are my drums. Dave probably brought some of his cymbals for this, but these are my drums and the stands as well. All right. So we're going to get right into it, but I'm going to make some popcorn before we do this because I'm addicted to popcorn now. Every episode I have to have popcorn because I very much enjoy popcorn. Very much enjoy is a phrase I say all the time too. But I'm fine with it. So yesterday, I think it was yesterday, whatever the previous video was, I switched up the popcorn that I normally have. So I mentioned that I received a popcorn maker. You've seen it on previous videos. And like a box full of, apparently it was 10 bags of popcorn kernels. And they were all different. There was a different variety. And so I started out with, the very first time I tried the popcorn, it was, I think, Midnight Blue is the variety I chose. And the kernels were blue. The popcorn was white, but the kernels were blue. And I think they were, I forget what it said, just a little crunchy. And like sometimes they'll have like a little blurb on this sticker up here. By the way, we've got a hockey game on. Florida and Carolina, round 1. This is game 2. Carolina's winning the series 1-0 so far. And Florida's leading the game 3-0. So in this game, in this series, I think I'm cheering for Florida. Though it would be cool to see Carolina win as well. So yeah, what was I talking about? Yeah, so there's a sticker here. And then there's a little blurb that sort of describes what's going on in the bag. And so for the Midnight Blue, it said small hullless, just a little crunchy. And so I guess the hulls are like the outer part of the kernel, right? Like the hard part of the kernel, I guess. And so yesterday, and so I used that variety. It tasted very good. I very much enjoyed it. Very much enjoyed. And then so yesterday I decided, hey, let's switch it up. Let's try, because I've got 9 more of these. So I thought, let's try a different variety, a different flavor. It's not really a flavor, but it's just a different kind. And so I forget the name of the one I picked, but it was mushroom something, large mushroom or something like that. It didn't have anything to do with mushrooms. It was just the popcorn popped up really big and it looked like a mushroom cloud. And so I tried those. They were pretty good. However, the hulls were huge. And so whenever I ate one, they would get stuck in my teeth. And I didn't realize how nice the Midnight Blue was compared to this big mushroom one. And I think I also preferred the taste to the Midnight Blue as well. And so now I've switched, I've gone to another variety. And so I decided to stick with ones that are either hull-less or have less hulls. So they do mention these on the stickers. And so I mentioned that there were 10. And I think 5 of them, 4 or 5 of them mentioned having smaller hulls or no hulls. And so I'm sticking with those for now. One of them was red. It looked pretty cool. I definitely want to try that. Another one was purple, which once again, the colored stuff looks very cool. However, this one I tried, the one I'm going for now is called Ladyfinger. I probably already showed you this, but it's called Ladyfinger. And it says smallest of the hull-less. So they're very small. The kernels are very small. I don't know if you could see that or not, but they're very small. So I'm looking forward to trying these. Hopefully the taste is very good. So just once again, I'm going to show the little clip that I always show of the popcorn popping. But the clip in the popcorn in the clip is the Midnight Blue brand, the Midnight Blue variety. It's not this. So I apologize for breaking the sense of realism, but I will be right back. And we are back. So these are noticeably smaller. Yeah, I guess because the kernels were smaller, the popped popcorn is also smaller. I don't know if you could see or not, but the ones yesterday were gigantic. And so this doesn't smell as good as the blue midnight, the Midnight Blue ones. Did I just pick like the best one right off the bat? I'm going to have to try one of the colored ones next time. Okay. But I don't see any hulls. So that's definitely my kind of popcorn, the one with no hulls, and they are quite small. So, all right, so let's go to the song we are going to be listening to. Questionable Stains. I don't know what that means, but it's a song title. This album was completely improvised. This is Dave on drums, me on guitar, and so this was we recorded one song with him on drums, me on guitar, which was track 1 until 8, I believe. And then track 9 to 16 was me on drums and him on guitar. So it was one song each and then split up into tracks. And so for this album, this was my first time using the echo pedal. I believe I was using Dave's echo pedal. And then right after this, I bought my own, the exact same kind. And so the day after this, we were playing a show in Hamilton. So he came over and we recorded this the night before we played the show. And I remember we did, so the show was going to be improvised. And so we didn't have to do any rehearsal or anything like that. However, I remember that we sort of did, there's a certain riff that I played in Piercing Light, and also in Questionable Stains. And I sort of did the same thing. So we sort of did like the beginning of this album, but then it wandered off into different things because obviously we had improvised on this album. And so we didn't have it memorized and all that sort of stuff. But I did play very similar. I played like one of the same riffs in this song at our show. All right, so let's listen to it. The echo pedal is not engaged right now. So when Dave starts playing blast beats, he was playing like very short blast beats. Whenever he does that, I start to do like tremolo picking. This riff here is the riff I remember playing at the show. I just engaged the echo pedal. So this song is pretty much no echo pedal until the last 18 seconds. All right, so there you go. Questionable Stains from Shapeshifter's Realm, recorded in 2016. The photo here, this is from 2018, so this does not have anything to do with this album. I had mentioned that before. Okay, so the next song we're going to be listening to is called Immortal Agony. This is from an album entitled Inside the Cell from 2014, so 11 years ago, kind of a long time ago. Before we start, I want to change the artwork here. I want to remove the text. I should have done this for previous ones as well, but all right, so let's do this. I did check on my computer to see if I have them. So where would it be? ISO, no. Music, yeah. Bandcamp? I think it's in this folder. Once again, we have the large icons for some reason. Does anyone even use that? It's so annoying. So what is this called? Inside the Cell, right? ITC? Where the heck is it? Here it is right here. All right. So let's update the album. Let's view the album. There you go. So here's your pretty artwork. This album did not have artwork initially because, let's just read this. Yeah, this was made for the metalarchives.com Thrash Songwriting Challenge, hosted by Infinite Nexus. So there were a bunch of songwriting challenges on metalarchives.com on the message board, and where you would be tasked with writing a song or an album that sort of fit with whatever genre you had. Like you had to write your song to fit a specific genre, whatever genre the songwriting challenge called for. And so this songwriting challenge was thrash. And I like thrash. I'm a big Slayer fan. I'm not a big Metallica fan, but definitely love Slayer, except for South of Heaven. I want to make a video one day where I'm just shitting all over South of Heaven. Because the album before that was Rain and Blood, which is, their most extreme album. And then they come out with South of Heaven 2 years later, which is like a rock album. It's and yet South of Heaven's one of their most beloved albums. It just makes no sense to me. Anyway, I'll save that for another video. But so because of my love for Slayer, I decided to make a song for this, and I ended up making 4 songs. One of them actually was a cover of a Slayer song. It was "Fight Till Death" from their first album, and I think it was 80. Was it 82 or 83? Either way, I was barely alive back then. I was born in 82. And what am I trying to say here? Yeah, so it's kind of interesting because Slayer was a huge influence on me. Even though I sort of got into death metal before I got into Slayer, Slayer is so extreme that it fits in with the death metal very nicely. And so I was very influenced by them. They were one of my favorite bands when I was in high school. And however, all the music I've written, it was always death metal. You know, it was always death metal. It wasn't so like thrash is like in extremity is like here, but death metal's up here. Death metal's more extreme than thrash generally. And so while I always included elements of thrash, specifically Slayer's version of thrash, it was always death metal. So I never I'd never written like a thrash album or a thrash song before, even though Slayer was such a huge influence on me. So this was a cool songwriting challenge for me because I very much enjoyed Slayer, and it would have been, it was easy to write songs like that because I liked them so much. And so I did that. And however, with that being said, these are death metal influenced as well, but they're much thrashier than my usual music. And so Immortal Agony is the first song off of this. Is there anything else I should say? Oh, the artwork. Yeah, there was no artwork for this because it was a songwriting challenge. I ended up uploading it to Bandcamp, and I guess I added this. This was, what was this? This was just a random sheet of paper that I doodled on. What am I trying to say here? This was a larger sheet of paper. This thing down here, this was like a cuckoo clock. It kept going below. And I don't know what happened to the rest of this sheet of paper. However, right here, this stuff on the side, this is text. This is writing I'd written. And so if you rotate it 90 degrees clockwise, I don't know what it says. It's probably some type of coordinates because this sheet of paper had a bunch of coordinates on it that I used while making a map for work. But I clipped it off the side, and I don't know what it is. Do not know what it is. Either way, that's what this artwork is. It's like what's this called? Web, spider web, and then an arrow. Okay. And so, what am I trying to say here? Yeah, I do have a text file under here. Okay, another album. Oh yeah, so this album, the mix really annoys me. I did not record it very well because I was still new. I just started using Reaper and my new microphones like a year or two prior, so I was still really new at this, and so the mix sounds really bad. And I specifically because the drums are too loud. The vocals sound horrible because they are horrible, but I could have fixed them if I just added some distortion to the high vocals. But yeah, the guitars are too quiet. So I was going to remix this because I noticed someone listened to this today, and I was going to remix it. So I went on my old laptop and I got the Reaper project and all the WAV files. And I brought it on over here. I tried loading it into Reaper, but it wouldn't load properly because I'd mixed it recorded and mixed it on my old laptop, and it was using a version of Reaper that was at least 10 years old. And apparently one of the effects that I used a lot on the tracks one of the effects I used a lot on the WAV files does not exist anymore in the newer version of Reaper. it's probably renamed to something else. And so it doesn't recognize it. And so the mix doesn't sound good anymore. I just wanted to do like a quick edit to the mix, but now I have to basically, I just said it again. I've been really good at not saying it lately though, but I think it's okay to say it sometimes. So I have to start over from scratch. And I didn't want to do that. But anyway, and then the last thing I wanted to say was, so for this album, I think it was my sister. She gave me a set of my older sister. I'm the oldest child, but I have two younger sisters. One of them's older, one of them's younger, obviously. So I call my older sister, I call the older sister my older sister, but she's not my older sister. She's older than the youngest sister, if you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, I believe, I don't know if it was for my birthday or for Christmas, she gave me a pair of drumsticks, and they were the Lars Ulrich or whatever his name is, the Metallica drummer, his signature sticks, which apparently were not made of wood. I don't know what they were made of, but they were not made of wood. Yeah, I don't know what they're made of. I still have them back there, but I use those to record this. And I'm pretty sure that this is the only album that features those drumsticks. So that's kind of interesting. All right, so we're going to listen to Immortal Agony. So for the lyrics on pretty much the entire album, I sort of went for just more traditional thrashy death metal lyrics. And so for this song, Immortal Agony, this has to do with, I took inspiration from the movie Wishmaster. I like that movie. It's a series of movies, actually. And it always stuck with me. I've used samples from that movie on my old music back in 2001. I think in even 2000, one of my songs, I think it's The Lost Valley of Dissection, has a sample from Wishmaster on it. And also there are more samples on The Last Breath of the Dying. But I do like that movie. Also, Hellraiser is sort of a similar type of movie to that. You know, it's one of those wish movies where the wishes are bad, or you wish for something and bad stuff happens, you know, that type of stuff. Both really good movies, Hellraiser and Wishmaster. I like both of those movies a lot. So that's what I was going for with the lyrics. All right, so you can read along with the lyrics if you want. I don't know if I'm going to... Yeah, I have enough... I've got 2 arms, 2 hands. I can follow along with you. So let's listen. Yeah, so just a reminder, the sound quality is really bad. So... Oh, by the way, there are also guitar solos. 2 different guitar solos in this song. Normally, I don't like guitar solos. I think they're stupid. That's just how I feel. However, you know, this is a thrash album, and Slayer's a huge inspiration of mine. It's kind of funny. I think guitar solos are stupid. Meanwhile, every single Slayer song almost has a guitar solo. I think there's literally only one Slayer song out of the ones I like that doesn't have a guitar solo. And I believe that is track 2 on Divine Intervention. What's it called? Sex, Murder, Art. I think that's what it's called. That does not have a solo. And I think that's the only song that doesn't have a solo out of the Slayer songs that I like. That's kind of funny. However, because this is a thrash album, I decided to play some guitar solos. And so every single song has guitar solos. So that's kind of interesting. I'm not a good guitar solo player. I was in the very beginning. We've listened to some of them actually on the Cassette Jams album when I was like 16 or something. I was just doing like the improvised shredding. But I grew out of that, and yeah, I'm not a fan of guitar solos. I just think I don't really think they add anything to the music. Usually, sometimes they do. Specifically for thrash, they do fit in with thrash very much. It's more of like a tradition type thing. So keep your ears open for the guitar solos. So this is Immortal Agony. By the way, this little part here, right after the solo, and then it does like the main riff 4 times, I guess. It's I really like it, but it does it 4 times, and then the lyrics come in after that, and the drums hit the bass drum, and then it does a cymbal choke 4 times, and then one of the guitars keeps playing. The other guitar only plays during the cymbal chokes. That part, I love that part so much. I don't know if anyone has paid attention to that part before, or had even noticed it before, but I pretty much took the for that specific part, I stole it. Stole it. I didn't really steal it, but there's a band called Defleshed. They are a death thrash band, very thrashy, very good band. And so, yeah, by the way, these songs were sort of, not these songs, but some of this style was inspired from Defleshed as well. Their Fast Forward album, I really enjoyed that album. It's insane. The guitar playing and the drumming is just incredible on that album. And it's just, straight to the point death thrash. There are no solos on that album, so it's really cool. And just nonstop riffing, super fast. Every song is fast. And what was I saying? Oh yeah, there's this song called Domination of the Sub Queen. I think that's what it's called. I think it's track 10 on Fast Forward. I don't know for sure. I love that song so much. And there's a part in that song that does the exact same thing. And I always thought when I heard the Defleshed song, how cool that part was. And so I used it's not the exact same idea, but it's very similar to that. And I took it from that song. So I don't know if anyone even notices that, but I think I love that part in this song. Sorry, I forgot about the lyrics. All right, there you have it. Immortal Agony. I was going to say something. Oh, yeah, these songs are probably like my most normal songs that I've ever written. It's just like straight up death thrash with no extra stuff. So very straight to the point, death thrash, and it was fun making these songs. I'd like to make more songs like this again in the future, because I am a very big Slayer fan. So I think that's going to be it for the video. Now, I didn't talk about the popcorn yet. This popcorn is really good. It is very small. That's not a criticism. That's just something I noticed. It's an observation. And there are no hulls. So I have nothing being stuck in my teeth. So I think that's definitely the key. I have to stick with this hull-less popcorn. You know, I'm going to look online to see if I can find more of those. So I'm going to go to that website, and then I'm also going to look for some other ones. And I'm going to search, because I don't know if there are even more flavors / varieties, but I'm going to stick with the hull-less because they're definitely the winner. So I need hull-less. However, I think I prefer the taste of the Midnight Blue a little better. Yeah. Okay, so, but these are good. These are definitely my second favorite, 100%. Now, I think there is another hull-less. Yeah, there's like I think there's another hull-less, and then there are a couple that have smaller hulls. But I think I want to stick with the hull-less. I think any hulls are bad. So, yeah, next time we're going to go with the other hull-less one. I forgot what it's called. It's like yellow hull-less or something like that. But either way, popcorn was a hit. So, until next time.